Imagine yourself in a veil, swinging into a land of white gold and black gold. Imagine neon lights at night and sheiks praying at dawn. Imagine the richest country in the world and, as quick as a sword flash, you're there. If space is all booked on the magic carpet, there's no better way to arrive at the heart. The Undersecretary of Tourism will be there in person to shake your hand and say salam, which means peace. They even give you a gold-embroidered thobe. It's a ceremonial robe worn by Arab women on special occasions. And in Kuwait, that's exactly what your arrival is. This plane load of travelers has come to take a look at one of the most amazing transformations in the modern world. The journey of a tiny, undeveloped sheikdom to a modern state in only 30 years. Oil paid for the journey, and an enlightened royal family with the interests of its people truly at heart guided the way.
When they sit around a campfire, it's more colorful.
These veils are worn by women to protect their faces from the desert sun. That instrument the minstrel is playing is called a rababa. His people have been famous for centuries as shipbuilders and sailors, as pearl divers and desert Bedouins, and the minstrel sings of their exploits.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting so modern now, getting away from all this, but...
There's another thing that is disappearing so much of the old markets, the bazaars.
I hate to see that finished.
Outside the museum walls, a great surprise awaits. From a scene of Bedouin stillness, the gate opens, believe it or not. Here in the National Museum garden, tents are erected to show how desert Kuwaitis lived in the days before oil. Horses were never distant from the tents, and guests were all of the world's proven reserves. Lovely hotels greet the traveler, and many visitors come to Kuwait City for the shopping. Not only because its stores stock everything from cameras to caviar, but also because, as you'll see, there are wonderful bargains on gold and pearls. They blend the present with the past, just as this beautiful mosque does. No trip to Kuwait would be complete without a visit to the Burgan field. By gravity to tankers at the port. Much of the oil is refined locally, and gasoline, while not free yet, is very, very cheap. At night, the city sparkles with neon lights. And that's a good time to go shopping after the cruel sun has left the sky. These visitors are purchasing harir, a fine, light silk, perfect for the desert and just about anywhere else. You can also buy fine jewelry here, night or day. Don't let the bazaar-like atmosphere fool you. Those bracelets are real gold, set with Kuwaiti pearls, among the finest in the world. Before oil was found, pearl diving was a mainstay of the country's economy. Even today, there's no better place in the world for buying jewelry set with pearls. In the sheep market, animals are sold as they have been for decades. For Westerners, there's plenty of frozen meat in the supermarkets. But when Kuwaitis eat meat, they want it to be fresh. Interestingly enough, there's no herding in this desert country, and so the sheep, like many other things, are shipped into Kuwait from outside. At the market, you inspect the animals carefully. Dicker with the seller, settle on a price, and lead the animals away to your station wagon. You'll never guess what that station wagon has in common with those sheep. It's this. They're sold exactly the same way. And this is a car market, set up just as a sheep market is. Don't let that bullhorn deceive you. You bargain for a car the way you bargain for a sheep. And because four-wheeled critters are a bit more complicated than four-legged ones, they're inspected very, very carefully. We met more than one Kuwaiti who predicted his country would be the world's first totally automated society. That may be, but here are at least 3 men who haven't yet been replaced by robots. Actually, robots might be in for a bit of trouble here. These men take a fierce, competitive pride in their strength, and they play a kind of can-you-top-this friendly challenge with these heavy loads to see who can get the most boxes on his back. I think here we found the winner. Show me a robot that can do that. Not all adaptations to modern life have been as quaint as the one we just saw. There was no counterpart to modern communications in the old Kuwait, but nothing has been more important in bringing the nation into today's world. When you're a small but very rich country, you need citizens who know about the world. Television keeps the Kuwaitis informed. The equipment is the latest and best, all operated by Kuwaitis themselves. The programs consist of news reports, films, and shows from around the world. Films are also made in the country, like this one on location in Kuwait City. Those men may look like dress extras in a Hollywood desert epic to you, but they're not. That's the director and his crew. Let's visit the location for just a moment.
Again, اطلع مرة ثانية. تعال ارجع يا. ارجع مرة ثانية. خليك ماشي مع محمد اقلب فوق تحت. محمد. طيب. ماشي مع محمد ماشي.
Inside this building, the National Assembly meets. For Kuwait, a traditional monarchy 30 years ago, is now a democracy, with the emir, whom we will see later on, acting as head of state. The 50-man assembly has a unique and enviable task: to spread wealth to its citizens, to channel and control progress, not to pay for it. Thanks to these men, Kuwaitis enjoy free medical and dental service, free television, free local phone service, and free education, which includes free food, clothing, books, lodging, and transportation, and, for most of those who desire it, there is free university training overseas. Assembly meetings are widely covered in the press and are open to the public. Students interested in government often learn by observing the meetings. Education of this kind has made the transformance of Kuwaiti society not only possible, but peaceable. Rearranging a country and the life of its people, all in 30 years, is a perilous business, even when you have the money to pay for it. The Kuwaitis have been able to do it, and theirs is a unique success story in today's world. They still enjoy simple pleasures, taking a family outing at a seaside restaurant, chatting and playing with their worry beads, or joining a fast game of backgammon with their friends. You couldn't ask for a better equipped playground. Even this young lady likes it. She's really too old for swings, unless the right young man is there to give her a push. Actually, they're on their honeymoon, and obviously want to be alone. Kuwaitis have long been known as a seafaring people. The country's early settlers had to depend on the Gulf for their livelihood. They built better and better ships until their vessels were trading in India, Indonesia, and along the coast of Africa. Of course, in those days, they didn't have portable radios to listen to while they were caulking the hulls. Naturally, the Kuwaitis became excellent fishermen as well. For centuries, the lessons these men learned from the sea were passed down from father to son. But today, when the diesel engine has replaced the sail, few craftsmen remain to pass on the ancient art of boat building. One who learned it from his father and grandfather is Ahmed Ben Ali.
This is my father. His business, the building and the ship. And my father and my grandfather, my grand-grandfather, all my family is working, he's working. And the ship, I sure not now, and for 2,000 years before or 3,000 years before, all family in Kuwait, all people in Kuwait is building, brain building of the ship. يبقى كم سفينة كم سنة؟ 2600. This ship 2,600 dinar and 2,000 in the English money 2,600 pound to dollar. I sure 4,124 dollars. This ship. And another ship is named Samak, Sayad Samak. Samak is meaning the English language fish. Sayad is catching. This ship is boom. El boom meaning the ship. Another ship is named Boom Safar. A Safar is travel. And travel. And the boom that is Safar travel, and the big boom about this only especially for the travel. It's different. In Kuwait is have more in modern and more in the body for the ship. As have one ship is smalling and have one bigger, too bigger. It's very bigger about the travel. And all the ship in Kuwait working is living to South Africa and Africa, maybe to America. That
yes,
is all family in
to
Kuwait.
America and the rest of the world. Those small sailing boats are now a thing of the past, replaced by huge tankers carrying the flag of Kuwait to ports all over the world. But all the ships aren't big. The boat we take to get across the Bay of Kuwait is a small one. We've come to Failaka Island, which has figured importantly in the history of this area since the time of Alexander the Great. The Archaeological Museum at Failaka has a collection of relics that dates back to Alexander's time. As a man of 22, Alexander left Greece to begin a campaign that would eventually extend his empire as far as India. 9 years later, in 324 BC, as he returned home, he stopped at Failaka and started a settlement here. The statues and artifacts here were found in the ruins of that settlement. These stone slabs are grave markers inscribed in the Greek alphabet. These rare seals have been found in very few parts of Alexander's empire. 400 of them were uncovered in Failaka, as well as many beautiful bronze and silver coins. Having seen what was found here at Failaka, we leave the museum to explore the ruins. Prominent among them are a fortress and a temple. Although most of these ruins date back to the time of Alexander, some archaeologists believe that people lived here as early as 3,000 years before Christ. Buried for many years under the sand, these decorative capitals have been remarkably preserved. They give us a very accurate idea of what these buildings look like and make a trip to Failaka a must. Dawn heralds the Feast of the Sacrifice, Kuwait's biggest holiday. Inside the mosque, members of the royal family and the government ministers gather together to pray. Here we see the Emir himself kneeling in worship. The Feast of the Sacrifice commemorates the testing of Abraham when God ordered him to sacrifice his son, and then, when he was finally willing to do so, spared him. After the service in the mosque is over, the Emir returns to his palace, where he and the other members of the royal family hold a reception for anyone in the country who wishes to come and greet them. The crowd gathers early for the Emir's reception, but with the palace band on hand to play, no one minds waiting. The Emir will have plenty of hands to shake today. All are welcome at this reception, and rank separates no one. Oil workers and government ministers, businessmen and students stand in line together. Here is the Emir, Sabah al-Salem, greeting his people. The men standing with him are members of the royal family. The color of the headdress has no particular significance. The white one is cool, the red one warm, and you wear the one you'll be the most comfortable in. Here's a little man who obviously looks forward to meeting his Emir. And another little man who wants more than a handshake. The Emir's reception is only the beginning of the Feast of the Sacrifice. The celebration goes on for 4 days, and roller coasters and carnival rides are a big part of the fun. In a country as rich as Kuwait, you'd think there'd be a carnival around all the time, but there isn't. So when it does come, everyone has to get into the act. And it looks like they have some pretty wild acts in this carnival, doesn't it? A traditional part of the Feast of the Sacrifice is the sword dance. In villages throughout Kuwait, men gather together to perform this dance. These men seem to relish the excitement of the sword dance. I guess it's just part of their desert heritage. The same courage that enabled them to live in a barren land and conquer the sea, and is now making their dream of a new, modern society come true. You have to admire it.